Shytoshi Speaks Shib, and we're tuned in. But today, we're diving even deeper with Paradox, the legendary designer behind the iconic Shiba Inu logo. He's back with a bold new mission. Oscar, the meme coin. What's the vision? Is it just another meme or something bigger? We'll break down the chart, scan the site, and then lock in for the podcast that could shake the whole meme space. Let's go, Shib Army. As you guys know, I go by Bone Army, aka Crypto Nostradamus. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and quickly see what the chart looks like. All right, introducing this new project to you guys. Full disclosure, I own no Oscar, but this fourth episode of Shytoshi speaks about this particular coin. So I want to see what the coin looks like. So it looks like the market cap is at $2.31 million. It looks like it kind of flatlined, went under, and yeah, actually it might have a bit of a pump because this looks like the bottom trough was in right here, and it could be ready for a handle. We have a little cup and a handle. Of course, not promoting it, just letting you guys know what it is. The price is at 2025.96, up 0.48%. Liquidity looking pretty good at $274,000. Okay, pretty good. And how many tokens? We have 893 million tokens, and 99.99% of the supply is in circulation. We do like that. All right, let's go ahead and check out the website real quick. This isn't a full review. Once again, not holding it, not promoting it, just seeing what this is about. All right, I want you guys to understand what projects Shytoshi's talking about, how it looks right now. This is the website. The website definitely looks very memey for sure. Boing, Oscar. I guess the people that follow Oscar or the Oscar Army, the Oscar Army. All right, you can farm. Looks like you can maybe stake. I think I saw stake up there. Ryoshi's white paper, the wolf paper for Oscar, the contract. I guess there might be two tokens because there's a collar contract, Shiba Swap centralized exchange, Certic overview. All right, cool. So, and then it has Oscar on trampoline. The story begins with Ryoshi. Oscar is a meme coin based with Oscar is a meme-based token that originated from a viral video of a Shiba Inu on a trampoline. Before Kabusu, Ryoshi, the creator of the Shiba Inu token, used this meme in his All Hail the Shiba article, August 2nd, 2020, marking the beginning of Shiba Inu. Now, Oscar is a CTO token supported by the Shiba Inu community and Paradox designer who was with Ryoshi from the start and created the Shiba Inu token logo. Paradox was Ryoshi's closest collaborator, making Oscar uniquely tied to Shiba Inu's origins. Oscar's mission is to spread joy, respect charity, and tell the story of Shiba Inu's early days, allowing the community to be part of something deeply connected to its creation, Shib DNA. So is this the video? Let's see the video. Can we see this video? Shiba Inus are actually very beautiful dogs. Yeah. All right, so it makes sense that it says boing. I get it. And that is Oscar, the origin of the meme. Cool. So that is the situation right there. All right, so now with that said, we are actually going to slide over here to the Paradox episode 4 of Shy Speaks Shib. Oscar the meme coin with a mission and a bite. The episode description, I want you guys to Sit tight. I'm gonna read this and then we're gonna slide right into it. It says, what makes a meme coin stick? Why do some projects ignite cult followings while others fade? It starts with origin, it ends with impact. In this electrifying episode of Shy Speaks Shib, host Shytoshi Kusama sits down with design visionary and early Shib insider Paradox, the mind behind the Shib logo and the heart of a bold new project, Oscar. Here's what you'll learn: why a polarizing brand can spark unstoppable community loyalty, the real story behind Shib's iconic logo and identity, hard won lessons for crypto founders. Hint, it's not about hype. The philosophy behind Oscar and why it's not, quote, just another meme coin, end quote, and how charity and crypto intersect with a mission to feed stray dogs. This episode isn't just about crypto, it's about conviction, community, and creation that lasts. If you're serious about Web3, don't just listen, engage, rate the episode. I'm sorry, it says rate the show. Drop your thoughts in the comments and follow Shy Speaks Shib so you'll never miss a beat in the Shib universe. All right, my people, without any further ado, let me go ahead and put this on pause. And then let's go ahead and hit this. Once again, this is episode 4, Oscar the Meme Coin with a Mission. Here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, foes and fans, friends, and of course, fudders, welcome to Shy Speaks Shib, episode number 4. And today we have a special guest that I'm actually really excited to finally talk to. We've already been talking for a few minutes before this recording. It's Paradox. Now, Paradox is a paradox, no pun intended, as it pertains to the origins of Shib. So, Paradox, thank you for being here.
Oh, it is my complete pleasure to be here and to finally get to talk to you, my friend.
Pleasure is truly mine. Now, before we talk about Paradox, as I always do, I have just a few things to get off my chest. I think I'm going to call this the get it off my chest part of the episode. And I think it's important this time to really talk about origin story because Paradox has a lot to do with the origin of Shib, how this whole thing took root and where it has gone. In fact, one of the cool things about Paradox is that he designed the Shib logo, which in many respects is probably one of the most well-known logos in the world at this point. It could rival things like 20th Century Fox, etc., in how well it is recognized when it is seen. So the value of that cannot be underestimated, and he deserves a big round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's talk about origin story. So, like, when you are creating a character of any sort, let's say, for instance, Batman or Superman, the origin story of that character is just as important as the current day to day problems or solutions that they face. Because without that origin story, it's really hard to understand the mentality or to understand the brand that is associated with that origin. We all love and usually fall in love with certain brands. But how often have you really dug into the origin story? Usually that becomes part of the brand that become cult classics. For instance, everyone knows the origin story of, let's say, Apple, or Dragon Ball Z, for instance. But not everyone knows the origin story of smaller brands, and it's a struggle for them sometimes to take their origin and weave it into the story of who they are. Now, this is a little bit of, in my opinion, marketing guidance and marketing advice for free, of course, in this podcast for anyone who's building some sort of brand in today's age. Because in today's age, everything's so fast, moves so fast, no one really cares, no one's really thinking about it. But it all depends. Are you building a brand that you want to sell 10,000 pairs of shoes? Cool, just sell shoes, bro. You can Instagram ad this type of thing and no one will care in a couple years. But if you really want to build something that's extremely strong long term, you need some sort of origin story. Now, why? The why is where we always have to dig a little deeper. Here's why. Origin and culture in general leads to polarization. Now, polarization is extremely important as it pertains to the marketing of a product or brand. You either love it or you hate it. What you do not want is indifference. Does that make sense? If
Mhm.
you have a brand of any sort and you ask people about your brand and they just don't care, you have a problem. But if they hate your brand, thumbs up, because hatred is a form of emotional attachment and you want that. And the origin story allows for someone to decide for your brand which of the two they feel based on the origin.
Mm.
Now, I'll give you, in my opinion, one of the best origin stories for a brand that I personally love. Hey, this is not a paid ad. This is just a brand that I love, and I'll explain to you how you create an origin story that's almost impossible to hate. Brand is called Ben Hart. I don't know their website. They make leather jackets and leather goods. And the story behind this company is that this guy, his name's Ben, is an immigrant in, I believe, Italy. Don't get me wrong. I could be wrong there. And he has a heart attack and they need to give him a heart transplant. So once they give him a heart transplant, now he has a new heart. He's a whole new person. And that heart, he believes, came from an Italian merchant because now he has this incredible drive to make incredible leather goods. And he does. He makes leather goods for people like Bruce Willis and all these A-list celebrities, Aerosmith, etc. His stuff is extremely high quality and a little expensive, but that's okay. And it's fantastic. You can only see one of his two stores in the United States. I think one is in LA. Last time I checked, they were going to make one in Texas. Extremely quality. That's an origin story. It's hard to kind of hate that origin story. When you go into the
Acquired,
store, I'm
acquired
sorry, what was that?
savant. I think it might have been some sort of an acquired savant syndrome.
Correct. And that is such a powerful origin story because how can you hate that? It's just it's so naturally interesting. It's hard to hate that type of origin story. Now let's go with the opposite origin story where you hate it like more people hate than love it. Let's just say Yeezy. Yeezy is a good example of you either hate or love Kanye West. You think this guy, like a lot of people think he's crazy. Easily, he says the most off the wall, crazy shit in the world. And again, you either hate him or you love him. But he still has a brand that polarizes everyone, right? So the key to having a brand that is polarizing is a great origin story. Now,
And
Paradox.
I'm sorry that I was just gonna add, man, he is polarized himself, like in some ways, and that'll make a polar, yeah. But I'm sorry, I was just adding this in there.
That's funny and very true, may I add. So,
Right.
like, that's the key. That's the key to really building an incredible brand is having this polarizing origin story or polarizing founder, I guess you could say. I guess in some cases, I'm a polarizing founder, right? People either hate me or they love me. Some people love me and, oh my God, Shy, you're awesome. Thanks. Or you hate
Man,
me. Oh my God,
yeah,
Shy,
they
I
hate
hate you.
you.
You're
They
terrible.
imagine all the people that came into Shiba, and imagine most of them, especially when it really ran up, and there were so many new investors, and imagine how many of them didn't have the first idea on how the things really work in this space, in crypto and the blockchain and overall. And you know,
Yeah,
yeah, and
they
then
included.
you
I,
and then
I
you are
learned
the number
fast.
one. You are the number one person to kind of look at, and people will feel they feel this unacquired, like this sense of like entitlement of like to go to you, and like as if you should be able to fix it. And like it's it's always some people like that in crypto, but like with SIPA, with such a phenomenon, with how many people it dragged in, with how many you call them noobs in there. Well, I don't know, but you were really under some heavy fire, and it really uncalled for most of it. Well, I know that 100% of it, or if not 99% of it, is just peddled, perpetuated bullshit.
Yeah, and you have an interesting perspective on that because Paradox, you've been there from the beginning, and let's talk about that, right? Because we've talked about the origin of other brands, right? We talked about Yeezy, we talked about Ben Hart, we've talked about some of the other brands that are polarizing. You were there at the start. You probably have known Ryoshi longer than I have, obviously, because you were there at the beginning. So, what do you think about? A lot. I have so many questions for you. One, what do you think about how we've grown and where we've become, what we've become, and how far we've gone? And what advice do you have for those who are just starting their own? And let me just before you answer that question, let me just say I want to talk about Shib, but I really want to talk about Oscar. I know it's a new project that you've been working on, and I really want to get into that in just a little bit. But I do want to start with Shib because these are the questions that I want to know the answer to,
Mhm.
and I'm sure everyone else does too.
Yeah,
So
I'm
yeah.
sure there's a bunch of stuff that can be unearthed right now, right now at homes, folk.
So,
Yeah.
so what do you think? What do you think? What advice do you give to other founders or people who are trying to start a movement like Shib, and they're at the very beginning. They're about to hit the launch button. They're just starting to build their community. What do you
Mhm.
think? What does it take?
You know, right? Like this is something that I've just noted down and really taken a lot from Sheep. But it's not just because Shib was successful. It's really, I think, a lot of the reasons because Shib was successful because how it was built with a zero tax and this completely decentralized, no real team thing. Do we like you got a team of flashy guys? This like Shiba was there, and we all we had like was Ryoshi, and then you have like me there seeing that. Like I saw it as a like you're in a company, let's say like a new hired in a company, and then you meet the owner of the company, and then like my personally I always find it fascinating to get in a conversation with such people, especially my well always. And so I really like that, and I was like, wow, okay. So it was so easy to approach and like go on and like, okay, I feel like I can bring something here, and the logo I'm gonna make an attempt on to make a better logo because personally I feel like it can be a better, more solidified logo in a sense that it's not a JPEG on top of something else. I don't know. It was just my graphic design brain that felt there was something off about the other old random online picture. I was at the stage where I was trying to get graphic design gigs for, and the payment was not a priority. It was mainly to get the gig and to put it up on the wall. But yeah, and then it's opportunity that I saw, and like they say, it's where no one sees the opportunity is where usually it's the better it is, I guess. But I'm it's so easy for me to stray off and talk about anything related about this. So you asked me about something like, yeah, what advice for early and new builders and leaders and founders? Like, yeah, so at least make it a zero tax, and well, before that, see at least 5 years in the future and in no less than three phases. In some way, it's not strict, but you have to have. It's not like if you're just gonna make it and then you don't even know what you're gonna do in 4 months because you're just hoping to make a buck of it. That's where you are in the fucking shit field, and where I hope no one buys you because it's gonna be like that. If it's like you're just one of the other 99% of it. Because like I say to people, it's not about what to buy, it's about what not to buy. So you can just kind of take all of that out of the equation, and then you got some others, and then you can like kind of filter through that. Well, but yeah, for founders, if you want to have conviction through it, and if you as a founder and if you're going to be out there talking and expressing and talking to the community, you gotta have a drive and a conviction even when everything is down and bloody. You gotta know that you have a 5-year plan or like whatever, and I just have
That's
yeah, I
that's
have
good advice.
yeah, just don't unless it's some, I don't know. There's like anyone is, but that's the beauty of it. Anyone can make anything. The worst tokenomics you've ever seen, but maybe it's like, okay, it's decentralized and it's called something horrendous. Well, at least not racist. I hate those are can just you know disappear. But and then it can rally, and then that's the meme, I guess. But
I completely
we're not
agree.
looking
I
for
think
that.
it's
At least
part of
not
it.
me.
A big part of that to me, paradox, is that you have to give your builders a treasury. I think this is super important. This is, if anyone says,
Mm,
what was the mistake of Shib? 50% should have not been sent to Vitalik. 40% should have been sent to Vitalik.
mm.
10% should have been set aside for some sort of milestone. If this milestone happens, this unlocks for the builder.
Good
Then
retrospect.
it's a good retrospect situation. Another reason why I'm angry at Vitalik, and will probably forever be angry at Vitalik, because like there was no thought of maybe I should help these guys build, or maybe like, because I think at the problem is when you look back at that time, no one thought this was even possible. So there's no thought of what do I do to for a 3-year plan of a $15 billion token or 20 or 40
Yeah,
billion
like
dollar token. Not
Shiba was an
expected.
experiment, it was an experiment,
Correct.
so it was kind of unchained from beginning. It was, as I saw
Correct.
it, I saw it as at least 10,000, like one of those big ones. But it became this behemoth, and I was never too surprised. I was way too calm when I had so much, and I never sold, and then it went down, and then I got it back up, and then I got hacked $240,000, and that's when
Oof.
got stuff. But what really kept me going was the fact that I made the logo and I got this involvement, and I really held on to that, and I really, yeah, and it's been a cool story, a tough road, and a happy one now with Oscar. But now it's all down, and I'm not going back home and settle down. I'm gonna work hard and coming Oscar NFTs. So yeah, we
So
might even.
let's talk about it. Let's talk about Oscar before you get to the NFTs. What is Oscar?
So in the research, you will find that Ryoshi himself put a screenshot of Oscar the dog jumping on the trampoline, which is a screenshot of the YouTube video of him that trended like 11 years ago, 10 million views. So it's like a proper meme, and it even outdates Doge and Dogecoin. So yeah, and Ryoshi posted that screenshot of that dog right on the Shiba Inu web paper, and it went past all
His
of us.
original blog post, right? That was his original blog post. And I know the meme. That's the meme where the dog's on the trampoline, like win number go up, basically, and then flies off into the air, right? I love that meme.
It went right past the nose of everyone. And so we found this current Oscar coin, and we were like, okay, this one will do. The other one was blacklisted, and this one will do because the owner already disappeared and left the 10% burn, a kind of void. So it's deflationary and everything. So it was a perfect CTO, and we had all the leverage and like this historical power, and sort of I felt this was the perfect project for me personally to sort of take on. And
Very
it-
nice. So what? Tell me about the core values of this meme. What makes it what it is? What makes it different? Tell me more about Oscar. And I love the meme, and it's
yeah,
actually it's classic meme. So I'm really excited to hear what,
yeah.
because
So
I know you put your heart into things, the heart
uh,
that you put into.
to me, I would say it's definitely the how it predates almost everything. The historical weight of it being that it's so old and predates even Dogecoin, which is in itself really a significant point right there. And then of course you take it in just of what it is. It's a dog jumping on trampoline, which I have never seen, and still it is 10 years old. This video or more. That's basically it. And Oscar is like a Shiba Inu, and it all correlates and connects. And I can't imagine a better project right now, except for still Shiba and Oscar.
Now tell me. I know charity was a big part of what you've been
Yeah,
that CTO aspect. Tell me a little bit about that.
yeah. We from the beginning, I really made a point on we would before we would make promises on further utility and use case and like staking and all that, we would first establish some a sort of a foundation a sort of initiation for a charity, a sort of a foundational where we have momentum. But that goes up and down. But at least when we build the foundation and the connections, we have something going. When things go well, that's when I see there's always space for profits to go there into charity and some good places, especially when it's voted by the people and from a collection of charities and all that, and just really make an impact, and take you're not happy with Vitalik selling it all, but what we can see, but he put it into this sort of a life saving thing.
No, no, no.
If
Let
you,
me let me clarify. I'm not mad that he. I'm not in any way am I mad that he sold it all. In fact, they didn't sell it all. They actually
Mm,
only sold as much as they could and sent him back $200 million. What I'm mad about is that when he burnt the 4 billion and he donated one, he didn't ask who are the devs building this and do they need a treasury? Because if he had burnt
right.
three, donated one to the foundation, and donated one to the COVID Foundation, Shib would be a top three token, and
Mm.
that's what I'm mad about. I'm very happy that he did what he did,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's the
okay, yeah.
beauty of it, right? That's the ethos of a good meme is that it has some sort of charity element. That's why I'm so
Yeah.
excited for Oscar and doing that. It has a charity element. It's amazing.
Yeah, at
It's really
least
part
we
of the ethos.
show the sort of the side of crypto where it is good, and where all the sort of promises of crypto and what it could be and all that, we stand for that. In the sea of
Mm.
bullshit, we kind of, at least I put myself forward like this, in a way, totally believe in crypto and I love what it is and I know what it can be and everything. And but right now, and it'll for a long time more, it's gonna be oversaturated with absolute horseshit. With It's gonna just make it harder and harder for the new people to come in and stay and all that without landing into the traps and getting the starting points right, and like where to start off and how to research whatnot. And it'll take a year at least just to understand economics, tokenomics or whatever, even if it's forex or crypto, just to get a grasp on that itself, and then you can move on to the blockchain, I guess, technology.
That's so true. I mean, when I joined Shib, think I was 2 or 3 years into crypto, and I still got wrecked. So it takes time to really, and even then, even with it takes time. It's more than just it takes time. It's not
Yeah.
just about it takes time. It's also about like it's a battle scar. Like you're going to lose more than you're going to win. It's a guarantee in current crypto world, and it's an unfortunate guarantee. But that's
It's
why projects exist where you can really do your research and find out that hey, this thing has good backing, this thing has an actual story, an actual origin, and it's worth my time.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about what's coming down the pipeline. You talked a little bit with me earlier about the NFTs. What kind of NFTs you have coming, bro?
So it'll be, if people would look at my previous pictures and sort of a dummy NFT collection I was making, but I never released. It's just gonna be, it's Oscar with the various hats and things and majiggies on him, with from laser eyes to normal goggles to a peasant hat or a firefighter's hat or a general's hat, all sort of shades, goggles, and then you blend it all together and you got these sort of freaky characters, every time. And I love
Ah,
that it reminds me of gaming and this sort of different values you get. And I really, it wasn't a long time ago where we did not have any developers really with us, but that quickly changed, and now I feel like we have a lot of developers with us, really, that we aren't even paying, and they're really putting themselves out there, really doing exactly what I did, putting your work out there because it can work, and showing initiative, I guess that's the word. We have like some games there, and but I'm a total gamer myself, so I'm always gonna be looking at that. But and then NFTs, and I hopefully with NFTs we can have a sort of a maybe a tax, or every time it's sold or bought, piece goes to charity or a charity treasury where that will be corded. And and then there's also for Shibarium the 50 cents for a meal for Stray Dogs. It's a milestone. It's a project that we will complete and feel very good about, especially continuing onward after that, and looking at
wait,
bigger
did you say 50 cents for stray dogs?
50 cents for a meal.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's all gonna be in hand with Shibarium, for we are integrated with Shibarium totally together. Finally, as Shiba and Oscar are family in some way. Definitely in the in the sense of time, they are family.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Amazing.
there's a lot to research and read up on, but
And
yeah,
so
this
where
is
can if I'm a listener, how can I find out more about Oscar?
so. OscarToken.com, That'll lead you
Oscar
to the website I designed, and it's gonna be in the same nostalgic fashion as the Shiba website I designed back in the day.
Nice.
And that'll serve as a good portal. So that's oscartoken.com. And then we are on Twitter and all those places and Telegram. But through the website you can find all those places. And
The Oscar community on Twitter is absolutely bonkers. They ping me all the time. Guys, give me a rest.
oh man, yeah, I think they'll give you some rest now, man. They're really happy now.
Oh, good. That's good. I mean, every time I open my X, it's either Oscar token, Shy, or Kiki that's pinging the hell out of me, and I'm just like, guys, come on, just uh, can I get like a breather and pull my head back together? But I'm proud of you, Paradox, for what you were doing, and what you have done, and I think the Shiba Inu community are greatly indebted to you for the work you did and for taking the logo and giving it to the world in a way that everyone can use it. I don't think you understand the impact you have had on the world. And I think for that reason, everybody deserves to take a look at Oscar and see what you're doing. And also you're the first community project to be on this podcast, which
Hmm.
I also think is a testament to you being one of the first in Shib. So
Oh,
I want to
it's
say
a
thank you again.
heartfeltly, we thank you firstly, Shytoshi, for having us here and especially being the first and absolutely just we are most thankful. And we, as in Oscar Army and Shib Army, I'm sure this podcast will shed a lot of light for people. I don't know in some way, but yeah, I'm really happy this is now that we have this going, and I'm sure we can when we have new things rolling, we can pop on a new show, and we can even kick the shit a little on a lighter note, and talk about whatever. I can't wait for that.
That, that'd be fun. I'd like to definitely have you back on and just talk more about all the stuff we were talking about before before we got on
Yeah.
the podcast. And we look forward to tracking your progress here to see how it all goes. And I can't thank you enough once again. And thank you to all the listeners out there, to the Oscar Army, to the Shy Posting Kusama listeners, and all the fans. This is Shy Speaks Shib with Paradox from OscarToken.com. Check them out if you are interested, and especially if you're here to help feed some dogs, because you know how important that is. NFTs on the way, and they're on
Absolutely.
Shibariums. How much better can it get?
Oh yeah, Shibarium integrated, zero tax, very ship faithful, no bullshit. A very deep rooted lore, grassroots, top of a line memes and historical connection. You gotta do the research. I'm not gonna mouth feed the people. They gotta research. You gotta research. Oh man.
DYOR, right? You'll be
Yeah,
surprised how
Dior.
many people don't DYOR. I mean,
Yeah, Dior.
DYOR.
You can
Dior.
say
Yeah, not that
Dior.
Dior. The other.
Yeah, not that Dior. Oh yeah. Oh, it was a blast talking to you, man. It
It's
was
a
great.
blast, Paradox. Thank you so much. And to all the listeners, thank you. This is Shy Speak Ship. Until next time, take care.
All right, so that right there was episode number 4, Shy Speak Ship with Paradox, the iconic, legendary artist behind the Shiba Inu logo. All right, so he has a new project, as you guys heard. I'm gonna go ahead and quickly go through some of the main points that Shy touched on, and of course that Paradox did. So from the first instance, they talked about, or Shytoshi Kusama spoke about the origin story, how important origin stories are. As you guys know, Ryoshi, the founder of Shib, got $20,000 from somebody. He burned it. He got half of the supply. He gave it to Vitalik, and you know the rest. They spoke about it. So that is the story of Shib. You see how they spoke about Oscar, who was a Shiba Inu on a trampoline. So that's actually the origin story of the Oscar token. But Shytoshi also spoke about the importance in general, how the story of different companies like Apple, etc. And he brought up Ben Hart. Of course, you guys know Ben Hart, exclusive designer, 2 stores, one in LA. And so immigrant from Europe, went ahead and got a heart transplant. And I guess the heart changed him, made him feel like he had to design a little bit more, which actually brings up some previous questions about the connection between the mind and the heart, right? Mind, body, soul, etc. And then that's when Paradox actually chimed in with something I haven't heard of, but he said perhaps acquired savant syndrome. But and of course, you guys know there's many of those savant stories. Another thing too, Shytoshi spoke about how some very controversial aspects of brands or people add value, whether it's love or hate. It adds value to the brand because of the fact that people are emotionally connected to it. And he brought up Yeezy. All right, he brought up Yeezy. Of course, you guys know Yeezy is perhaps the most polarizing individual right now, based on how hard he's going on certain aspects of like his last song. All right, can't really say it over here on YouTube. So another thing too was that he, like me, when he spoke about that, about the polarizing, honestly, Shytoshi is himself one of the most polarizing individuals in crypto. Some people love him, some people hate him. I personally feel a connection with Shytoshi Kusama because I believe he's trying to do something that has never been done with everybody else. It's not just Ryoshi, not just Shytoshi, not just Cal, not just Wizard, not just Paradox. It is an effort, a collective. Just like Paradox mentioned, when Shib started, it felt like a startup. Him doing the logo was, well, he could do a better logo than what they had, so why not? So that definitely connected with that. Also, the unique nature of Shiba Inu having 0 tax and being decentralized, that definitely gave it a type of ethos. So one thing too, Oscar founder, or I guess Oscar's original founder gave up on the token, so it was a type of CTO. He said 10% of it, I think, was burned. So that's actually really good. As I told you guys, 99.9% of it had been in circulation when we checked Dex tools. All right. So one thing Paradox mentioned was the conviction that you have to have in your project. And I think that is a lot of times what happens with some of these projects that start strong, but then when the market isn't going up, when the bear shows up, smacks them around a little bit, mentally they get weak, physically they get weak, they get tired. Capitalist system continually draining, people emotionally, physically, and economically. So they feel the pinch and eventually they give up. They don't have that conviction. So he said 5-year plan. Okay. And one thing too, Shytoshi said he was mad at Vitalik, which was interesting. Then he clarified why. But I do know where he's coming from. Even with the FHE, you guys know I did a video on that where Vitalik is talking about how bringing fully homomorphic form theory into a real life functioning technology was difficult. Okay. And then we have Zama partnership with Shiba Inu, bringing that through Shiba Inu tree. Okay. And no word from Vitalik. All right. Keep in mind, Shibarium is a layer 2, layer 1.5, layer 0.5, however you want to look at it, side chain, work chain, etc. from fork from Ethereum, okay, and Polygon. So it's definitely one of those aspects and very complex relationships where I also have a theory about it, and it's almost like a vampire attack that's happening from Shibarium on Ethereum, and maybe that's why he feels a little kind of whatever. But one thing that Paradox said was he got hacked for $240,000, man. I think he said in Shib. Another thing too, the Oscar meme, allegedly, I need to verify this. Supposedly, it's older than Doge, so that actually would be a big up. So one thing that Shytoshi brought up, and I thought was very important, he said that you're practically guaranteed to lose in crypto. The way things are set up right now, guaranteed to lose. So that's some real talk right there. All right, because if he was on something like, "Oh, go ahead, invest, ship to the moon with a penny, this and that," like, you know what I mean? Like, where would the honesty be? So I like how real that comment is, where he's like, basically, you're guaranteed to lose. I think it was at like 20 minutes and like 30 seconds. Honestly, it might be worth listening to. And before I shut off, and also Oscar charity, 50 cents. They're coming with to feed stray dogs. 50 cents to feed stray dogs. So they're trying to hit that problem of society, as well as, you guys know now, based on this, and if you didn't know before, now you know, Oscar integrated into Shibarium. So you know how loyal they are with Shibarium. You know I'm rocking with all the projects that are coming from Ethereum to Shibarium. In fact, I need to make a list because I need to cop every single one. I know there's a lot of projects out there, including some communities out there that have been making a lot of noise, as Shy mentioned, you know, that they keep pinging him. And I know a bunch have been pinging me, particularly Roar. So shout out to Roar. Got to give it up to him because they have been working overtime. Got to hit you guys with a video, just like I did a video on Oscar, even though I don't hold Oscar. I will try to get some Oscar out of respect, but I like to be transparent with you guys. Don't hold any Roar, but I will try to get some too. And the market is moving, so you already know. So last thing was, Oscar is coming with some NFTs on Shibarium. All right. So let's go ahead and quickly hear that last part, that Shytoshi 2030. 2030. So
Felt
go ahead
there
and
was
do it
something
for
off
20.
about.
Still got wrecked. So
Oh, when he got
like
rugged
it
after he was
takes
with Shib,
time to
he
Totally
also got
believe in
rugged.
crypto and I love what it is and I know what it can be and everything. And but right now and it'll for a long time more, it's gonna be oversaturated with absolute horseshit. With It's gonna just make it harder and harder for the new people to come in and stay and all that without landing into the traps and getting the starting points right and like where to start off and how to research whatnot. And it'll take a year at least just to understand economics, tokenomics
All
or
right.
whatever,
Here it
even
comes.
if it's
Get ready
forex
for
or
it.
crypto, just
These
to
next
get a
30
grasp
seconds are
on
really
that
important
itself, and then you can move on to the
from
blockchain,
Shytoshi.
I guess, technology.
that's so true. I mean, when I joined Shib, think I was 2 or 3 years into crypto, and I still got wrecked. So like it takes time to really, and even then, even with it takes time, it's more than just it takes time. It's not
Yeah.
just about it takes time. It's also about like it's a battle scar. Like you're going to lose more than you're going to win. It's a guarantee in current crypto world, and it's an unfortunate guarantee. But that's
It's
why
All right, so there it is. Basically, it's an unfortunate guarantee that you're going to lose in crypto the way it is, and that's what he's trying to solve. So, anyways, I'm sorry this went so long, but at the same time, I'm not, because it's important to get some understanding, a little background into the history, into some of the people behind the entire ecosystem, including the artists. So, big up to Paradox for coming up with perhaps one of the most iconic, not perhaps, with one of the most iconic meme coin images slash brands slash, decentralized project, um mascots, ever. So big up to you, big up to Shytoshi for doing these and giving a little perspective on the origins of things. If you want more, you already know what to do. Videos up there. I go by Crypto Marxist, aka Bone Army, aka Crypto Nostradamus, hitting you with another one of these. I covered a couple on the live, but yeah, I might have to redo them as these video segments so you guys can actually get to them easier. All right, once again, if you want more, hit them up there. And with that said, I'm Bone Army, you're Bone Army, we're Bone Army, and I'm out. Doses, my people. Stay up.